Hello, my friends. I just got back from the gym, if you can't tell. Had a great 5-mile run. I am gearing up to start half marathon training in a couple of weeks, so I'm feeling excited about that. And let me tell you what happened. Last night, or 2 nights ago, I went to a girls' night out, and I was supposed to bring a topping for ice cream sundaes. And so I brought this big bowl of cinnamon chips that not very many people ate, and so now I have this big open bag of cinnamon chips. And so I thought, hey, why not make some cinnamon bread, right? So that's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna make cinnamon bread today. And because I like to go big or go home, I'm gonna double it and make 4 loaves. The original recipe will only make 2 loaves. But I got lots of people in my family and they like to eat. So 4 loaves it is. So all the measurements I'm gonna give you are for the single. I'm gonna be doubling all of it. Got it? Okay. I have a Bosch mixer right here, which I love to use to make bread. It's got a really powerful motor. You could use a KitchenAid. I would not double it in a KitchenAid. It's not powerful enough. In fact, I might even half it and only do 1 loaf in a KitchenAid. If you don't have a mixer of any kind, go get one. I highly, highly recommend the Bosch. I got this for my wedding over 13 years ago. It's still running like a champ. It's a beast. The sucker never dies. I can make 6 loaves of bread in this thing, and it's just like, what else you got? Here we go. 1 cup of warm milk. I'm using 2. 1 cup of warm water. I'm using 2. And if you want to make sure your liquid is at the right temperature so you don't kill off your yeast, stick your finger in it. And if you can hold your finger in it and not pull it out because you're going to burn yourself, that's the right temperature. You're going to use 2 1/4 teaspoons or 1 packet of active dry yeast. And to help it wake up a little bit, we're going to give it something to eat. So we're going to add some sugar. Yeah, 1/3 of a cup of white sugar. Gonna be so good. And then you're just gonna let it sit for like 5 minutes to let the yeast wake up, and then we'll come back and add the rest of the ingredients. It's been a few minutes, let's take a little look-see. Oh yes, it's foamy and smells like bread. You know what I'm talking about? You go into like a bakery or a bread shop and that woof of like yeasty goodness hits you in the face. Yes, that's what that smells like. Now we are going to add 1/3 of a cup of vegetable oil and 1 large egg. Now, in recipes, bread recipes that call for egg, I actually like to substitute a 1/2 cup of mashed potatoes instead of the egg. I feel like it's more tender. I don't particularly care for the texture of an egg bread. And since I'm doubling it, I made 1 cup of mashed potatoes, but usually it's a 1/2 cup of mashed potatoes to replace 1 egg. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that in. I always keep instant potatoes on hand for situations like this. Just gonna turn it on for a second and give it a quick little mix, and then we'll add our flour. Okay, we've got 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt, which I'm doubling, so I'm gonna put in 1 tablespoon. And then flour. And when you do this in a mixer, you wanna add like half the flour and then mix it. And then while it's going, continue to add flour until it scrapes the sides of the bowl clean. That's what we're looking for when you make bread. Now, the regular recipe is about 5 cups of flour, but just like I said in my pie crust recipe video, you can click on the link up here if you haven't seen it yet. Flour is temperamental, so some days it might be 5 cups, and other days it might be 4 cups, and other days it might be 6 cups. What you're looking for is to clean the sides of the bowl. That's what you want. And since I'm doubling it, I'm gonna add about 6 right now because my total is gonna be close to 10. Turn that puppy on. Now that it's cleaned the sides of the bowl, now we're gonna add our cinnamon chips. Now this dough is warm, okay? Because we had the warm milk and warm water. So we don't want the cinnamon chips to melt, so once we add them in, do a quick mix and stop. And then once you're done with that, we're gonna dump the whole dough into a large bowl that's been coated with oil, which I'll do right now, and let it rise for about an hour. You want it to double in size. You're gonna add 1 cup of cinnamon chips. Doubling mine, so I'm gonna use 2 cups. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, like 1 cup of cinnamon chips for 2 loaves of bread, but trust me, it's very sweet. Ready? Here we go. And done. And my thing's pretty full. Okay. Woo! Don't break your finger, guys. And your hands are gonna get messy. Okay, that's pretty good. Get off the extra little goops off of your hands. I'm gonna give this a quick spin so the whole thing is coated in oil. All right, so it looks like that. And we're just gonna cover it with a clean kitchen towel. This one's nice and light. You can dampen it a little bit and then stick it in a warm spot, and we'll check on it in about an hour. All right, we're done rising. I'll show it to you. It's significantly bigger. And I learned my lesson from the pie crust, and I put on an apron. And I don't have very many, maybe only two or three maybe. But this is one of my favorite ones. I think the pattern's really fun and pretty. I have over here 4 loaf pans. I get these kind from IKEA. They're super long and skinny, and they're pretty cheap, like $5 or something. And you can use them for a couple of years, and they're red. So these are sprayed with a non-stick spray. And I'm going to do some flour on here so I can dump out my dough and it doesn't stick to everything. Here we go. As you can see, it doesn't take very long, and I'm going to put my towel back on top of these and let them rise for another 30 minutes or so.
But you're not getting too much.
Yeah, I think these suckers are ready for the oven. They're going to go into a 350 degree Fahrenheit oven for about 30 minutes or so.
Now, check this out. This is my pie